is better than a coach team. After that big win, do your veterans or your players reset on their own, or do you have to kind of help them kind of get back to the middle?
You know, I think it's the one thing a lot of coaches are disappointed at nowadays because of the thing you're holding on to. It's a problem, you know. There's just not as many vocal people. And Cohen's trying. Jeremy's had a couple of really good practices, you know, and he's trying. And Coop, you know, I got guys that are trying to do a good job, just not natural for them, you know. And I still believe that's what will bring more consistency to our team. If the players take ownership and the players coach each other, because so much time we're not with them. So that's just what I talked about in the meeting there. Still got to grow in that area. We're growing in a lot of areas. We've had a really good couple of days. What does that mean? We'll see.
You don't have to give me a game plan, but the three-point shooting success you had the other night, do you feel confident that you can rely on that in this game?
No game plan? No. Never rely on three-point shooting. That's Wisconsin. You know, they shot the lights out against us, and I'm hoping it continues to improve, but relying on it, no, I'm relying on what I've relied on for 30 years. We're going to defend them. We're going to do a better job guarding the three. We're going to try not to turn the ball over, rebound the ball, get our running game going. And then if we move the ball, get our running game going, we're going to get some shots. And we are shooting the ball better. We shoot the ball better than we did last year, all year. So, but I rely on it? No.
Wondering about the challenge that you guys have had here in the last 2 months with all the one-time preps, and then the back 3 games are all second-time preps. How has that challenge been? Does it change in those final couple?
Well, it is really, I think, one of the more difficult things about these schedules. When you have all those first-time preps, especially if you're going to row and you come back at 4 in the morning, and now you got 2 days to get on a one-time prep. If it's a 2-time prep, it's a little bit easier, but I give my staff a lot of credit on that. They're the ones that have to do it. I give my scout team a lot of credit. They're the ones that have to learn our offense and theirs, and then the players. But I mean, it's not as easy. You know, if you played Indiana the first game and then the start of the second half, you know, Michigan the first start of the second half, you know, Illinois like it used to be. You just go back, look at your scouting report. It was 3 weeks ago. You have a little more familiarity with them. That's one of the things that's more challenging, that probably people would not understand, but it is more challenging, and it's for everybody. I mean, it's just, we have a unique thing that the last 3 games are our only 2 preps.
And there's 15, 16 different styles too in a lot of ways too.
That's changed too, you know. Back when I started in the league, you know, everybody played a certain man, everybody played ball screen coverages the same. We had a couple different offenses, but not a lot of them. So you're right on the money, you know. That's what people need to understand. It's a lot more difficult for these kids to do it than it was years ago because of that reason.
What concerns you about Ohio State, or what makes them dangerous?
They've got good personnel. Of course, their point guard's been there, I think, for 8 years. He's a good player. He's over a 2,000 point scorer. They've got another kid that is really starting to. Their big kid is starting to come on. They've got enough talent to be really good. That's why they've been really good. Like the other day, they should have beaten number 15 Virginia. They've beaten some good teams. They've lost a couple games that maybe they shouldn't have lost. So, I think we'll have our hands full. I mean, how do you compare them to UCLA? How do you compare them to Iowa? A lot of us are in that same mold. They're one of them.
NCAA president recently has really been pushing for an increase to the size of the NCAA tournament in March. Curious your thoughts on if that were to happen in the next couple of years.
They got a lot of other things to take care of before they worry about that, if you ask me. I have mixed feelings on it, if I was to be honest with you. It's easier to say that when we've been in it 27 straight years. But you earn the right to be in it too, you know, and I wish they'd probably, I like I wish the selection committee had a few more coaches on it and a few more former players on it that really understood a little bit more like football does. I think that would be critical. I think that would help. But, you know, we have so many automatic qualifiers that I see where it's a problem. I haven't studied it enough. I got so many other things that are so much more important than that for me. But it's a good question I'll think about in the offseason.
When you think about 27 years of making the tournament, what are the lessons that you think you guys have learned the most from making it year after year after year? What is most applicable for being a team that's been here so many times?
Number one, don't take it for granted because it's still hard to do. I mean, it's really hard to do. Number two is you want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the year as you get into that tournament. And that's kind of what we're trying to do right now, no matter what that means. Can we try to get better every day? Number three in that tournament, I still think you got to be able to defend to win, whether it's the conference tournament or the other. And probably last, can't turn the ball over. And if I looked at a couple of teams that are really good, like I went back and looked at all the teams this week in the top 25, there's some teams now, I think Houston's like 6 or 7. You know, when you're that ridiculously low, the teams that are high, and we're one of them, that have taken it down a little bit, but we're one of them. I think that's got to be cleaned up, or it could be a problem in the tournament because every possession matters in the tournament.
Speaking of tournament, high school level, a lot of seniors, this is their last game, getting ready to make the shift for their tournament. Any advice you got for the players and coaches who's going into the tournament time?
Yeah, I wish them all luck. You know, there's nothing like, the high school tournaments. I mean, they're a special time. The whole city gets involved, and sometimes one school against another in the same city, like Saginaw, Arthur Hill used to be. I wish them all luck, and then I wish those kids luck in trying to get a scholarship somewhere, because I think it's more difficult than it used to be, and I feel for those kids on that. So good luck to all of you.
Just not having to travel, like you mentioned, one-time preps and being on the road and getting back and forth. To have this week where you were in Minneapolis or Newark, you think it helped you guys settling up?
I mean, I think it automatically helps everybody who doesn't have to go through it, but I'm not making an excuse about it either. Does it help? Yeah, it helps. What helps is to be focused in at this time of year. It gets to be a long year. It's long for you guys. It's definitely long for the officials. It's definitely long for the head coaches. And so staying focused on the task at hand is still almost as important as anything. But rest is one of those parts that helps you. And so we got it now, and then all of a sudden it gets a little hairier on the stretch.
I'm interested about what you said about trying to get your team to peak at this time of the year. How tricky has that been over here? 31 years ago, you learned a lot about it.
Well, that's why I lost those 2 games. I said if I lose those 2 games, then we can build on. It really depends on the leadership and everything of the team. I mean, I've gotten beaten in the Big Ten tournament, got upset in the first game, and remember those good old days. Busted the tape up in front of the team, and forgot about that game, and we went on to get to a Final Four. I had really good teams that lost in the first round. And we all know the story. When you've been here this long, there's a lot of scenarios you have. But what I have learned is you have a feel if your team is not only playing better, but is sharp. Like, you won't hear this very often. I have loved our last 2 practices. I mean, I think there's really been a concerted effort. Jeremy's been really good, Cohen's been good, Coop's been good, Jordan's been good. So I've really enjoyed the last 2 practices. We'll see if we can carry that on to one more and then play a game.
You mentioned about Denham after the game, shoulder. How's he handling that?
He's been pretty good. He was out the day after and everything, but it wasn't torn out. It was this little tweak, So I didn't notice anything today. So he's done. He's going to help us.
With Jordan getting that minute, just I guess something if you need it later.
Yeah, if I need it later.
Yeah.
Everybody gets hurt, I might need Nick to do it too. I mean, it's not in my game plan right now. Down the road, you never know in the years to come or whatever. But we're playing him a lot of minutes now for what he has to do, and I just got to keep that rotation. And I think we got a pretty good one. I think Jeremy's in the best shape of his life, and Cohen's in the best shape of his. And so if we just get them 2-3 minutes here and there, and then keep everybody knowing what they're doing in the positions they're in, I just think it's better for us
I
right
would
now.
think adding a third position for a freshman to learn
it's hard.
to this time of
It's
year.
hard. I mean, he already went from the 3 to the 2, you know. and
Yeah.
Not that that's a big change, but you're right. That's tough.
When you talk about practice, I'm wondering of your players, who has the best questions? Like, who has the insightful perspective?
Well, Jeremy asks some really good questions a lot of times, but you can tell the guys that are focused in, and he's usually thinking. Sometimes he's overthinking. I said, did you watch 20 hours of film? If you did, you can tell me what to do. But I do like that. I like a guy who's engaged, He's probably the best that's engaged. Cohen's picked up everything really well, too. And it's getting to the point where with those 4 guys, we can ask them, what do you think? What would you like to do? That's pretty cool when you get to that point.
I was going to say, have you seen Thornton evolve over his time? It's getting more and more rare where the headliner, you see a headline type of guy year over year at the same program.
Yeah, and he's been a headliner for him. And it's been 4 years. And he can score it, he can pass it, he can defend it, he can get into the paint when he wants. He's a bull in a china closet, he really is. And I don't know him great, but seems like a hell of a kid, He just is always playing hard, doing things right, and I've been very. He's one guy I'll talk to at the end of the game to say, "Thanks, you've done a lot for the Big Ten," and I mean that.
Nick Brennan apologized to that player today. Have you had any conversations with him that you care to share in the last couple of days?
I got a couple conversations. Not that I would, apologize to the kid for throwing him out. What you don't know, guys, and this is what's hard about your job and my job. You have no idea what went on during the week. You have no idea what went on during the game. You had no idea. Maybe Mick blew a gasket. I've done that before, and maybe he was right because something else happened, and it was the last straw. Nobody knows that, but everybody talks about it. It's just interesting for me to see how different people look at different things. I said that about Matt Ishbia today. Did you guys see any of that?
Yeah.
Like I agree with him so much. Why would you want to teach a guy how to lose? I was so proud of him, and yet people 100% agrees and 100% disagrees. Everything is no politics. We got a team on the far right, and we got a team on the far left, and there's nobody in between.
If you're on social media, you'd really see it, brother.
Yeah. That's why I'm not, brother.
Yes, guys?
Thanks, Steve.